resources sent to you after registering for the class. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple of things in this guide in particular, and then show you other resources that are available to you in this general content area. So we're going to start here with this Getting Ready, which is a guide to preparing for remote learning. The first thing that I would like to talk about with you today is setting up a learning space for your student. And when we're setting up a learning space, I just want us to think about, where we are putting our learning space and where we're kind of carving out that space in our home. And when we're doing that, I want to make sure that we're trying our best to reduce clutter and minimize surrounding distractions. So some things to be thinking about might be pets, or where the TV is, if your kiddos have social media, and mitigating those surrounding distractions. By doing this, we're going to help our learner focus and also reduce stress. So as we're very well aware, we're on day 5. This is already a stressful enough year, and just the things that we can do to help make sure that our students aren't having any external stress is going to really help them focus and get their work done. So if we can try to reduce clutter and minimize those surrounding distractions, it's only going to benefit our students and our learners. The next thing that I want to highlight, especially for our littles, is finding a space and converting something like a stable surface, like a table, into a learning station. By doing this, we're going to help protect the device and also maximize video and audio clarity. So if you're borrowing a device from the district or you're using your own device, we of course want to protect it as best we can. Especially in little's hands. And so we want to make sure that we have some sort of stable surface for them to place their device on. This is going to help them from dropping on the floor or, accidentally being stepped on or whatever it might be. But if we can keep them from breaking and cracking or, whatever it is, we want to do the best we can for that. It's also going to help with the video and audio clarity. So if you have a device that's sitting on your lap, for example, and every little movement you make is going to shake your computer, and your screen is going to be, your camera will be bumpy. So this is going to maybe cause distractions for your learner, as well as potentially cause distractions for other kids if their video is on during a synchronous session with 25 kids in the same Zoom call. Also, our hands and our arms, even brushing on the keys or typing, just can cause a little bit of feedback in the speakers of our computer. And so if we have those, if it's on a stable surface, it's going to help remove those extra little quirks. The last thing that I want to talk about is where we're setting up our learning space. So for our younger learners, we want to try and place a device in an area where family and other caring adults are available to support and monitor their engagement. So we recognize that our younger students might need some help, whether it be with content or technology questions, but we want them in a space that's accessible. For older learners, maybe you have an older learner that is in the middle school or high school. We want to place a device for them in an area that allows for safe yet confident engagement. So it's important for them to not feel embarrassed when they're raising their hand to ask a question or engaging with their teachers or peers. And so just making that distinction based on the age of your learner is important. Something that's come up in previous Family Academy sessions of this content is the idea of potentially having multiple spaces for our learners to engage in the learning. So maybe for the beginning of the day, they're able to sit and focus independently a little bit more. And so then they might be in a potentially like a bedroom or an office by themselves. And then as the day goes on, maybe there's content, bless you, maybe there's content that they need a little bit more support with. And so we're moving them to somewhere like the kitchen or in closer proximity to a family or a caring adult. That's also really going to be nice for some change of scenery and maybe get up and move a little bit. So just making sure that we're taking into consideration where their space is. In school, we have our desks, and kids can call their desk their own. They have their things inside of their desk. And so just if at all possible, we want to make them feel that same level of comfort in the home when they're learning. Next thing we're going to talk about is maintaining a schedule. Your teachers have sent you a class schedule, and we want to do the best we can at following that class schedule. So this is going to enable our learners to achieve their goals and also take advantage of the supports that are available to them. So coming up, we're going to be starting some time with teachers after our synchronous time. That could be small groups, or teachers maybe hosting office hours, or availability for assisting students in other ways besides in a Zoom call in the morning. And so we want to make sure that if these are options for your learners, that they're available and that we know about them. So having that schedule and understanding the schedule and the different elements of the schedule is going to be important. Another thing, kind of like I was mentioning before, is this idea of taking brain breaks and exercising. We want to make sure that our kids are getting up throughout the day, that they're not sitting in the chair for 3 hours straight, and that they're moving around and maybe getting some exercise between classes or sessions, or if their teacher gives them a break, that they're really utilizing that break. So taking brain breaks and exercising improve problem solving, memory, and their ability to pay attention. It's also proven that exercise and brain breaks are natural stress and anxiety reducers. And so we want to do the best that we can to teach our kids about these natural ways to let their brain breathe and have a moment to just kind of take away some of the stress that online learning might be causing them, and also anxiety. So this is and ways you can do this would be have them get up and walk around the house once, or the apartment once, or maybe they run outside and take a lap outside for a second, or play outside with a game, some sort of toy for a minute, or maybe you turn on a song and they dance to a song for the duration of the song, or maybe they go to the kitchen and get a snack. So just things that are getting them out of their chair, up and moving, and allowing them to take that time to themselves and break. The other thing that we want to mention is this maintaining a consistent bedtime and other family routines as best we can. This is really important for our overall health, and also is going to improve learning. So maybe you're a family that goes for a walk or plays outside every day at a specific time, if it's not raining, right? Or maybe you're a family that has dinner every night together. And we want to make sure that these things are staying consistent for our kids. Enough is inconsistent for them right now in this pandemic and a time of unknown altogether. So the things that you're consistently doing with your kids we want to try and continue to do those things. Again, this is going to improve their overall health and their learning. And the last category that we want to talk about is determining learners' needs. So I have this very fond memories of in August going back to school shopping with my family, and we would go up and down every aisle in Target and get all the new supplies, or maybe one year I'd get a new backpack, another year it'd be a new lunchbox, and we just prepare and we pack our backpack prior to the first day of school, and then you feel ready to go. And a lot of this has been taken away this year, due to the fact that we don't necessarily need right now pens, paper, markers, binders, etc. And so we need to make sure that we are preparing our students with the correct materials that they do need in order to be successful in remote learning. And one of those two of those main things are having access to a device and having access to the internet throughout the day. If you're someone who is maybe needs an additional device for a student, or maybe you're having trouble with internet, we definitely want to know about that so we can support you as best we can. Having access to a device and internet throughout the day is going to make sure that our learners can accomplish the goals for the day. And we also are aware that we have two different types of learning happening. So we have synchronous time, which is live online time with our teachers via Google Meet or Zoom. And then we have asynchronous time, which is support from teachers, just not live on a call. And it's important to know that a device may be needed for both times. So you may have a time where your student needs to be on a computer during asynchronous time, and of course they're going to need one in order to be on a Zoom call. So if you're someone who needs multiple devices for the kids at home, just please let us know if you don't already have that. Another thing that we want to do is ask our learners before class about what materials they might need. So again, in school, they have their desk, and their teacher can ask them, can you get out your pencils, or can you get your textbook out? And if we are not preparing our students prior to class being started, it's going to cause interruptions in their day and interruptions in the Zoom call. And our time is very precious right now. So we want to make sure that they have their necessary materials prior to class starting. Some things to remember, especially for our littles, is their login information. And so making sure that they have it on a card with them, or you help them in the morning get logged on to their computer and to Google Classroom. But that's something really, really important that's going to be needed every day. Another thing would be a power cord. Zoom calls definitely suck up the power on our computers, especially for 3 hours straight, as most of us are experiencing during our learning. And so making sure we have access to an outlet within reach of our power cord, and that we remember to bring our power cord is super important. And the last thing is headphones. We want to encourage kids to use headphones. It can help with the distractions like we were talking about. It also is really great if you have multiple students learning in your home. If you have several Zoom calls going on at once, it can get to be a little bit overwhelming. And so headphones, can keep it right here and help our students of all ages focus during their synchronous time. And then the last point on determining learners' needs is just taking time throughout your day at some point in the day just to discuss emotional and academic successes and challenges with your learner. This is so, so, so important. And our teachers are doing a great job during their synchronous and asynchronous time of checking in with kids and asking them about their emotional and academic health as well. But it's just so important for parents to be doing it, and caregivers, daycare providers, whoever it may be, to ask students how they're doing and to check in with them. Maybe this is happening during dinner time if you're a family that eats dinner together, or maybe it's in the time that you're helping your child log on every morning, or maybe it's the 2 minutes right before you run out of the house to get yourself to work. You just ask them how they're doing, but just reminding students that you're there for them, that they are supported by you and their teacher, that we're all in this together, and ultimately that they're loved and cared for. And it just reminds them that they're important. The last thing that I wanted to show you is some additional resources that are available to you online. So you may have seen this picture as well. It was sent to you once you registered, but I just wanted to go over it in case you didn't have time prior to our session to review the materials. So each of these is a link to another resource. This right here, this Getting Ready, is the guide that we just went over together, but you have access to that as well should you need it down the line. And then here, if we click on this darling little individual, it's going to take us to a resource that was provided by the district when we were releasing reopening resources for families. And it is very similar to what we just talked about, but it's just 5 more tips on how to be successful with remote learning. So again, just if you're interested in more tips for you, you may see some similar things, but some different things as well. And that's found on the district, again, the district website in the school reopening resources under remote learning tips. And then the next thing that I would like to show you is some tips from Common Sense Media on how to be successful with video chatting for online classes and how to get kids ready for that. The whole world of teaching and learning online on Zoom and Google Meets is new to everyone, teachers included, and so we just know that there may need extra support on getting kids set up for Google Meets or Zoom calls. So there's some tips and tricks throughout here that you can read and utilize that may help you and your learner. Before we move on, I just want to show you where you can find this if you've lost it or maybe haven't seen it before. So I just wanted to take a second to navigate with you on the district website to where this is living. So really quickly, I'm just going to open a new tab and we're going to go to the Steilacoom homepage. So you can type in Steilacoom School District in Google, or you can just type in our website if you know what that is, but steilacoom.k12.wa.us. So however you know how to get to our website, this is what it will look like if you're at the right place. And then we have, as our Family Academy, we have a fancy little button here on the home page, which will navigate you directly to where all these resources live. So if we click on this, there is a hyperlink within all of this other very useful information that says click here for our Family Academy schedule. And if we click on that, you'll see our schedule, but then you'll also see the resources for the session. So these are the resources for this session that you're a part of right now, and then there are also resources present for the SEL session if you didn't get to attend that one. But here you can access all three of the documents and websites that I just showed you. You'll also see our schedule should you be interested in attending more of our Family Academy sessions down the line, but that is there for you as well. At this point, I would just love to hear any